Hey guys, Triple J here. This video is quite different than the others I've made, but I'm just going to jump right into this. As pretty much all my friends know, I'm a gigantic Kingdom Hearts fan, and I love pretty much all of their games. But I feel like there's a potential game style that they are missing out on. Throughout their many games, there have been quite a few different gameplay styles. The main game of the Kingdom Hearts series had the usual fighting, platforming, and puzzle mechanics. Chain of Memories introduced a card fighting system that was a bit of a hit or miss with many players. Birth by Sleep introduced a new system for their skills and even had a kind of board game system introduced. Dream Drop Distance had a kind of Pokemon thing going on with it and introduced a character swapping system as well. There are other systems in the other games that were introduced as well. There was even a rhythm game made recently that had multiplayer, and for a long time I've been thinking that there is a style of multiplayer game that Kingdom Hearts could have that I think could have massive amounts of potential, and that is a horde mode style game. I spent a lot of time thinking about this kind of game and how it could possibly work. So I've written down all the information I could think of and have decided to share it with the world for probably like 5 people that will watch it. Anyways, let's just jump into how I think a Kingdom Hearts horde mode game could work and what it could involve. First, I'll start with character. There are two possibilities when it comes to characters. One is that you can choose from maybe 3 to 5 Kingdom Hearts characters and you can unlock more the more you play. Or, the idea I like more is the ability to create your own character. First, let's talk about choosing a Kingdom Hearts character. If you do choose a Kingdom Hearts character, you will need to have the ability to get accessories or change the looks of the clothes, just so you can have a team of people that could all have the same character but also look completely different. If you could change the clothing or add accessories, I think you should be able to even change the colors of those as well, like the actual clothing accessories as well, to create an even higher possibility for different looks. But for creating our own character, I personally like that idea so much more. In being able to change so many different things and have it so you can have base looks to start with but unlock so much more the more that you play. You could even possibly choose fighting styles, so that your combos, your blocks, your dodges, even the way the Keyblade is held, can look more like the fighting style that you like. And the clothing and accessory variety you could have, being able to have a character of your very own, I think has an extreme amount of potential. Let's move on to the story. There are different story possibilities depending on the characters, whether they be from previous games or your own character. Depending on what game you choose to do, the story could be very different. I'm not the greatest at creating stories like this, but I decided to give it a try. If you choose from a previous Kingdom Hearts character, they could have the whole someone is controlling the Heartless and Nobodies, and the armies have become so high in numbers, and they are attacking many worlds in great numbers. So you could be the characters having to fight the Heartless and Nobodies, just trying to find out who is behind the rise in numbers and strength and restore the worlds back to the way they were. Now, for our own character, I had a kind of idea for how the game could start. The story could start with you in Twilight Town or Radiant Garden, no special abilities, just a normal person. A ton of Heartless and Nobodies start attacking the world, forcing everyone to flee. As you are running, you see someone in danger and run to their rescue. You pick up a weapon off the floor. It could be a struggle bat if you're in Twilight Town, or a sword from a guard in Radiant Garden. And that could be the tutorial fight, how you learn how the fighting works. After finishing the tutorial, your character starts losing and looks like they are about to die, when a bright light appears and they are taken to that area where you choose your playing style. So you have the choices, the usual sword, shield, and wand choices, or the kind that appeared in Kingdom Hearts 3. After that, you are brought back to the world with a new weapon in hand, a Keyblade. You take down the rest of the enemies, and then a couple of actual Kingdom Hearts characters appear, maybe Sora or Riku. They see you with a Keyblade and offer to take you to Merlin's for training. After that, the story can start following the idea that you're learning your new abilities, but you're also trying to figure out what is going on. next would be Keyblades, the thing I'm going to focus on. I would think you would either start with the Kingdom Key because that's like one of the trademark, or maybe if we have our own characters, we would either get one, like a brand new base one, or if you chose one that's got to be like a previous character, you would you would start with their beginning Keyblade. But as you play, you could get more Keyblades. There could be multiple ways you get more Keyblades. The Keyblades you get could be a collection from every single game, and they may even create their own ones specifically for this game as well. There is such a variety to choose from, though, that there is bound to be ones that everyone will love to have. You could even use Synthesis to increase the strength of your Keyblade so you can have the one that you want for longer. Just like Kingdom Hearts 3 had their Keyblade forging to make their abilities stronger. But I came up with 3 different ways that people could get Keyblades in this game. One way is that with each chapter of the game you complete, you could get a new Keyblade. It's a simple way to get more, but of course means that everyone's Keyblade choices will basically be the same. The second way is a shop. Basically, after different situations in the game, you could have a few different Keyblades to choose from that you could buy from a Moogle shop. The variety you get means a higher chance that people have different blades when playing together. The third idea is Synthesis. After learning recipes from getting new levels, completing levels, or opening chests, you could gather the materials and take them to the shop to make the Keyblades and you could possibly even change their stats. Make them have higher strength or magic by adding extra or rare materials. If that's an option, you may even be able to have the option to change the color of the Keyblade itself. Because I remember quite a few complaints I had, and some of my friends actually had, was that we loved the style of the Keyblade and everything, but we just didn't like the color. Or there's like one part of it we wish we could change. But being able to change things like the color of the Keyblade, or even the hit effects, when you hit an enemy, sometimes stars will appear. Being able to change those, and being able to change the color of the swing that appears, could make everyone's character completely different. Now, how would the gameplay work? Basically, it would have waves, like normal Horde modes. Depending on the different difficulties, more or less enemies would appear each round. The enemies would drop money, and at the end of each round, a Moogle shop would appear randomly on the map. You could then run to the shop and buy items such as potions, ethers, etc. within the time limit, kind of like how Killing Floor works. After every maybe 10-15 rounds, there could be a mini-boss. And after a certain amount of rounds, a boss from previous game would appear, but stronger than before, causing everyone to have to work together. Now, what about locations? The locations that these could take place could be from every game. There is such a huge variety of worlds and locations from them that each world could possibly have at least 5 locations. And the size of the areas could mean that people could be quite far away from each other, but still easy to get back to each other if need be. The combat would most likely work like Kingdom Hearts 3. All of them, you don't start with many abilities and you get more as you play through the game. But I think the aerial styles and the zipping around and all that kind of stuff would be Kingdom Hearts 3 style. Leveling and abilities. This is one thing I had to think very hard about. But instead of normal leveling, like the normal Kingdom Hearts games, you gain experience at the end of the level, or if everyone is defeated. And instead of a normal way of leveling, you would have a skill tree. If playing with our own characters and making the decisions at the beginning, like the whole sword, shield, wand thing I talked about, it could change the order and things that actually appear in the skill tree itself. With each level you earn 1 AP. Maybe milestones can give a few more. So you can increase your stats like strength, magic, health and whatnot, or save up points to learn new abilities like magic, maybe even summons, physical abilities, stuff like that. This could practically make it impossible for two characters to be exactly the same. Now, how would the multiplayer work? I believe a game like this could have two-player split-screen capabilities, but I think this game would shine being able to have four-player online multiplayer, each getting experience based on their performance, their amount of kills, healing teammates, how long they survived, things like that. Now, one subject I absolutely hate would be about microtransactions. As much as I hate them, I believe a game like this would most likely have them as well. But I think the stuff you would get would only be cosmetics. There would be no way to pay to win. There would be no way to get experience or skill points to make your character stronger. No way. Just a way to get you to have different and possibly better looking clothing and accessories. I think if anything, there would be in-game tokens that you can spend on chests. I know loot boxes, to get clothing for your character. If you open the chest and get something you already own, you would get some tokens back though. But yes, as much as I hate loot boxes and stuff like that, I feel like this is a game that would have them. Now, I've talked about a variety of things, but I haven't talked about the actual what kind of modes this game would have. So of course, it would have a story mode. Basically works as you would guess. There would be a story to follow and missions to complete before you can continue the rest of it. If this would have multiplayer capabilities is actually something I'm unsure of. But if you do only get to play single player, you would most likely have AI partners to help you. And who helps you will most likely depend on the mission and the location. So it's like if you're in Radiant Garden doing a mission, you could possibly have Leon and Cloud with you. Then we got the Horde mode. You fight waves of, like I said before, fight waves of enemies. This would be one of the multiplayer modes. You could play with 3 friends, so you'd have 4 in a lobby, and fight together. Obviously, like I said, the amount of enemies and their strength depends on the difficulty you chose. You could even decide how many waves you're going to fight through, and there could even be an endless mode. Like I said, every 10-15 waves, mini boss, which could, one idea would be a normal Heartless, but with special properties to make it harder. Then after a certain amount of waves, or the final wave if not playing endless, an actual boss from any of the previous games could appear, but stronger and possibly with new skills, forcing the players to work together to take it down. Then I thought of an advanced Horde mode. You and 3 friends still fight waves like normal, but in every wave enemies are more difficult and can have special abilities that make them stronger. Some of them could just be a bigger size so they hit harder. They could have regeneration so they constantly heal as you're trying to destroy them. One idea I had was a burning aura, so it's basically if you're too close to them for too long, you start getting damage taken off of you. It would be hard to survive through the waves, but you would most likely be able to get more experience in this mode to level up faster. Then I thought of a free play mode. This mode is quite different from the others. You and 3 friends can explore a few different areas and do some missions. Or just muck around, take photos in photo mode, whatever. These missions can have some variety to them, just playing mini games, fighting enemies, bosses, etc. And completing missions in this mode can give you a small amount of in-game money to help you buy chests. The better you do in them, the more you would obviously get. And finally, a PvP mode. I think this mode could shine if people get to create their own characters. A mode where you and 3 others can go head to head and fight each other. Not sure what kind of bonuses you could get from this, but I just like the idea of such varied looking and fighting styled characters being able to go against each other and be able to see all the differences in not only looks but skills. So that's all I could think of at the moment. If I do think of anything more, who knows, maybe I'll update this. But if you guys have any questions or ideas, please put it in the comments below. But I do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Bye!